Okay, now these are the books and the journals basically that I will be using. So you have any questions regarding this? So I mean, like these journals. I mean, I hope there will be soft copies available also. So please look into it. Journals, so you have access, right? If you have IIT Delhi credentials, please go through, and mostly we can actually access most of the important journals. Journals we don't have a problem. Books also soft copies must be available, right? So please go through them in parallel when the courses are going on, right, to get an in-depth understanding of the course content. So the policies that we will be following in this course is lectures will be carried out in asynchronous mode. PPTs, video lectures will be uploaded in Impertus in Moodle. Also, in last, I mean, like I can upload in my other courses. I upload it in YouTube also. Because in Moodle, in Impertus, sometimes it happens it becomes too huge a file to I mean download and read. PDFs are anyway there, so PDFs will always be there. But for video lectures, they can be uploaded in YouTube also, right? So that you can see it online itself. So the lectures will be in asynchronous mode. Mostly, in a week it will be given to you, right? If there are three lectures will be given to you, not perhaps on that day, on that exact timing, but it will be given to you weekly. Right. So because it's an asynchronous lecture, so if, after every fifth lecture, so you can count the sixth lecture will be a live class like we are doing today. Which the live session can be like it can be partly converted into lecture that we impart a part of the course in a lecture fashion, or it can be a help session, right? Because you have already gone through 5 classes, you may have several doubts, so that can you please consider this as a doubt clearing session. So also what will happen is that I will share with you a Google link also, right, where you can before coming to the class you can add the doubts that you have, not entirely just a topic, right, and maybe you can refer to which lecture class it was on, right, and because that helps, right, in the class to save time. So if you can write that this is my doubt or something, the explanation will be given. Uh, and if you cannot do it, right, you want to tell it on the live class, that is also welcome, right? So, that will be a doubt clearing session where we will be clearing your doubts in the last few lectures that we had. And also there will be a quiz. You consider this that every 6th class there will be a quiz on this subject, right? So small quizzes to actually keep you up to date on the course. Because is in asynchronous mode, it should not go run away, right? It sometimes appears that okay, lastly I will cover all the videos, right, and come for minor or major. That does not help, right, until and unless you are up to date, and even doing the assignments helps in the course, right? So this will be conducted to keep you at place, right, so that we are all in the same page. Okay, now coming, so of course, when there are live sessions, I will like that there will be no disturbances. So please mute yourselves and raise hands whenever you have some queries. We can ask you questions, right? And yeah. Okay, now coming to practicals, as I've told that this is a lecture plus practical class. So the practicals will start from next week. Days of the practical, I will like to have only one practical day. Uh, Wednesday 5 p.m. if it is okay for all. I will like to have it then 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. It will be divided into two groups, group 1 and 3 into one session, and group 2 and 4 in the second session. Okay, because it's an online class, right, we don't have a problem of holding larger groups. So what you can expect in the practicals is that practical sheets will be given to you. You have to write codes I mean, you will be solving the problem in class. So there will be TAs who will be helping you if you are stuck with the code somewhere. But please try to write your own codes. Of course, they are only there to help you, right? So it will be like a brush up of all the concepts that we have, right? It will go synchronous with your lecture notes. Whatever we have covered, there will be a practical upon that. There will be a problem that will be given that you will be trying to solve it with computers, right? With C programming. Um, in some cases, we will also use Excel. So this will be done to just, I mean, make you help understand and implement what is being going on in the class, right? So the course will be online. I mean, whatever classes will be there is a what do I say, right? Is a classwork that we will be doing, right? So some part of it, if it is required, please solve it on your own, right? And in the next class, we will have, I mean, there will be a viva on the coding that you have done. So you submit the report definitely, and there will be a viva on whatever you have worked on, right? You have to explain what you have done, right? The TAs will take that. Coming to the days of the practical, there is only one day that I would like to keep on Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. for all the groups, right? So you'll be divided into two sessions, parallel sessions. The first session will consist of group 1 and group 3, and the second session will have group 2 and group 4. Okay, Wednesday 5 p.m. From 5 to 7 p.m. we'll have the practicals. Is that okay? Okay, so yeah, so we will have to do our session where it will be a hands-on session where you will be doing the coding. Any problem you have, you're stuck, right? We can discuss where you are stuck. But I mean, like you should be up to date and you should be doing, right? I mean, if you have a C compiler in your computers, that would be very good. If not, there are online portals, right, where you can write a C program, and you can it's not a problem if you don't have a C compiler. Only if you have a C compiler, it will be faster, right? And it will be a more, I mean, you can save them at your ease, right? Or one of the problems with online compilers are that you write the code and you forget to save it, is totally lost. So please be aware, because it's your own coding. At the end of the day, you have to submit that, right? So you have to take care of those. So one day the practicals will be done in the class. It will be explained what needs to be done. Some part of it you will do in the class, right? If some part of it is left, you will do on your own. Next week, that has to be submitted. A part of the session will go in asking you questions, right? To understand, and there will be marks on that, right? To understand that whether the codes you are understanding it on your own or not, right? So that will be there. So these are the practicals which will be on Wednesday from 5 to 7 p.m. Okay, now coming to marking scheme. Yes, so the quizzes that we will have on the 6th of each of the classes. On the 6th class, all the quizzes will count up to 10%, right? So I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, it may not add up to too much of the marks, but this will be very much important to understand whether you have understood the concept thoroughly or not, right? Minor and major exam will only be there. I mean, like, it does not access whether you are understanding the concepts, right? I mean, quizzes will be there for you to understand how much you have understood of the courses, right? Minor one and major will be for me to access, right? So it's very much important that you access that way, how much you have understood from the learnings, right? And it will be based on the lectures that are freshly covered. So I mean, it will go hand in hand. So this will add up to 10%, right? And I mean, if there, I will try to see, like, if there are six quizzes or 7 quizzes we can fit in, then we will see that best 5 we can take. and things like that. So mainly in this course, please try to learn this, because as you will understand that in all the courses that will come, this numerical methods plays a very important role, right? So please concentrate on understanding. So minor is of 20% and major will be 40%. Term paper, as I have told that there will be a term paper. So this I will discuss more when it comes. So it will be after your minor, right? So after your minor, you will, I mean, still many of the concepts would be not known to you, but with whatever concepts you have or some newer concepts that we'll be learning, you can search for journals, different journal papers, understand where these concepts have been used, right? Try to figure out what more can be done, right? And the term paper will be based on that. And the practical submissions that we will be giving, practical submissions and the vivas involved with that, that will constitute of 50%. Okay, because it's an online course, right? I don't think, I mean, closed book, I don't know how much that makes sense, but I mean, try to, I mean, like, yeah, try to be what I would try to say is keep pace with the class, right? I mean, if you understand the concepts, if you understand how it has been derived, I don't think whether it's a closed book or open book makes any, I mean, in any difference at all, right? You have to understand the concepts anyway. So all exams will be closed book. I will like to have them closed book, right? So that the concepts, I mean, it does not mean that you have to mark all the equations up, right, or things like that, but you need to know how they have been derived. Okay, so this is a marking scheme that we have. At this point, I would like to know that whether you have any queries with the practicals, with the marking schemes, or anything that I have discussed so far. Yes, Sarthak, can you tell me?
Good morning, ma'am. I read out that you told that after every fifth lecture we'll have a live class. So is that a live class or is that a quiz or both of the things will happen?
As I told, it can be anything, right? It can be a total lecture class. It can be it can be based on your. There will be a quiz. That's a constant part of the sixth class, right? Apart from that, whatever time we have, it can be based on a, I mean, like a doubt session. I hope that there will be doubts. I will welcome doubts. So you can say that the class is divided with quiz, doubt session, and if there's time left, we will go into the next lecture, some part of it.
Okay.
It depends on how much time we have and how efficient we are in giving exams. Yes, yes, term paper will be based on some journal paper or some research paper that is already published in the field, right? Right. So something has been established. So whether you can understand what are the concepts that have gone into it, like in the term paper also there will be different grades in the term paper, right? We'll discuss about all this thing when it comes. So there can be level 1, level 2, level 3. So level 1 is that you just understand the term paper and it's like a literature review on a research topic, right? So it can be like, for example, rainfall in India, right? So if it is on rainfall in India, so you find out the statistics from 3 different or 4 different or 5 different journals, right? And you write about it. So that is called literature review, right? When you understand the basics, try to figure out a little bit of your own based on the statistics and this thing. So this is a literature review. So these are for those person who want to get a 50% marks, right? So on that, the second level will be based on that whether you can reproduce the result or not, right? So if some numerics has gone into it, so you have to write your own code, show whatever has gone into that journal, whether you can actually give me exact results. I mean, it's not just copy paste. I don't want a copy paste from the journal, right? I want you to figure out how this has been done, right? And whether whether you can represent that, right? So whether your knowledge has been up to that person, right? Whether you can find out exactly what is going into that journal. Okay, and the third level will be something, right, where you will be doing more than what is written in the journal, right? So you will be doing whatever is required up to term 2, and whether you can predict something more, right, with your own knowledge, right? Whether the physics enhances with your understanding, with your concept, do something else. For example, we are solving for a pipe flow, right? Pipe flow can be of different things, right? I mean, like I mean, the journal. Whenever we write a journal paper or we write something, several assumptions are made. Things are made simplified so that we can have a very basic model to understand the physics, right? So that's our first level of attack to understand any problem. Then as we move ahead, we try to understand what more complications will be there, right? So for example, if the fluid is Newtonian, if it is simple fluid like water, right? How will that be? If it is more complex like honey or some quicksand, right? Whether the flow will be similar like that, right? Or I mean, there are temperature variations also in the flow. So there can be different complexities that will be there, right? So so if you can add to that complexities, right, to understand more, something more than that more should not be in another journal paper, right? That more should be something from your understanding in solving the problem, and something that has not been done before, right? So if you can do, then there will be additional marks given to you. For example, last time someone actually devised a app to understand the COVID statistics and things like that. So I mean, this is a I mean, region where you can use your creativity, understanding, your passion, right, to figure out what is going on. C and C++ is mandatory in the course, right? I don't want MATLAB in the course at all, right? Because I will say what happens, right? So MATLAB is like a software, is like a black box, right? So what happens is that the students come, they ask OD 45 or something, the MATLAB gives you some answer, right? So I want you to understand what is the engine behind that, right? What solves this thing, right? What MATLAB does, right? And for that, you have to write your own code, right? It cannot be I mean, like that black box you are using to solve something. No, you should be the black box for other persons, right? You should be solving things, right? You should know exactly what is it. You need to make it transparent, right? You need to understand exactly what is happening, right? So for that, MATLAB and other softwares are not allowed, right, in this course. For understanding, for learning numerical methods, I think is the best way that you write your own code. C++, if you're not aware, I would suggest, I mean, like, what we will do is the first class, if you are not all aware of C++, I don't know. So we can learn some programs, or if you know already, we will brush up those codes, right? First part of the class can be based on that, right? So that we are all aware of it, and some codes will be given to you, right, so that you can brush up your knowledge, if that is the thing, right? So we can all come, but I mean, like, even coding can be also of different standards, right? One can be like you are learning it for the first time, so the code will not be that much mature, right? So that is okay. So I will expect that when you move more into the latter part of the code, you will be able to write um, will be able to write more mature codes, right? That means that you should be able to use pointers, you should be able to write in files and things like that, right? But I mean, yes, that's a part of it. For your learning, try to learn it. That's all I'm trying to say, right? Um, yes, there won't be. I mean, there are no softwares for C. I mean, so basically, you can download a Turbo C++ or Take C++, right? So these are platforms where you can write your code in C or C++. Okay. So I mean, wait for the practical classes. Wednesdays. This Wednesday I won't take the practical. Yes, only basic C, C++ is required. Is only a tool to actually see that. Basic is that any language you take, it would have helped, right? I would like C, C++ because I think it integrates with other softwares also very well. For example, if you will learn Fluent later, which is a CFD software, CFD package solver, there you have to write user-defined functions and anything else. So that are all based on C, C++. So if you learn it, that will help you only. Basic is required, not very advanced C, C++ is required. You consider this as a tool only, right? So actually you need the logic, the steps that are involved, right? The algorithms, that should be something that you should be understanding, right? So it's a tool to execute your understanding, right? And delivering the thing, right? So whatever is required for that C, C++ is required. Not a very in-depth, and I mean, like, yes, if you're a good solver, you will solve it much faster, right? Yeah. So as you go along, as I'm telling that at the initial stage, it's not that you have to know a very good knowledge of C or C++. But as you go ahead in the class, I am very sure your coding skill will increase. Okay, term paper, one thing I have forgot to mention is this will be done in groups, so don't worry, right? Each one of you are not going to give me one term paper. It will be like 140 papers. Again, I'm checking with different things is very difficult. So we will divide you in groups of 4 or 5, right? And you will do it. There will be sufficient time given to you, like I mean 3 weeks, so it will be given to you. So you can, I mean, I'm discussing this now because you can start searching also, right? That a topic that on which you will be working on, right? From now also. I mean, if you are very keen, if you are very keen in solving something, right? With numerics, right? So you can start from now in searching this. But for even if you start searching at a later point of time when you have gone through the course, something, right? For executing it, for understanding, for writing codes and all these things, for making it to the report part, right? 3 weeks will be given. Okay, from the announcement till the report has to be submitted. But we need it much before the final major exam because I mean, because all the term papers will be different, right? And we want to go into the depth to understand what you have understood, right? So it will take time. Okay, so this will be in groups. You can choose your groups. I have no say in that, right? With whom you want to work with, right? What you want to work with, everything is free, right? And what level you want to work with, right? It all depends on you. Yes, any more question on term papers you want to know?
May I ask one?
Yes.
The term papers, will it be divided like the 3 tiers that you mentioned? Will the term paper be divided in like three parts based on that, or will you evaluate like that only?
You have to tell me by submitting the term paper which level you have worked on.
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay.
So can it be just like, does it have to be one of the 3, or can it be say a mix of 2?
See, when you are at level 2, you must have already covered level 1.
Right, right, ma'am.
Right, and when you are doing level 3, level 2 must be already covered, that you have already solved what is in the paper. Right, so that part is covered, but you have done extra. Whatever you have done extra, that can be highlighted.
Right.
Right, for which you are telling that so there will be one part or one page is like a cover letter telling that why you are going for level 3, what you think is novel in your paper, right? That was not in the actual journal paper.
Right, ma'am.
Okay. Yes, the group size will also be of 4. For example, there are 140 students. 30 term papers, yeah, I would like to take around 15 to 20 term papers. So accordingly, your groups will be divided. Okay. Anything more on term papers? Yes. So there will be a section for self evaluation, like the term paper that I mean, if you have given level 2, and we think that it can be extended to level 3, that can also happen, right? So don't worry that I mean, it's just for our under. You should be able to self evaluate. That's the main thing, that what you have learned, right, or what effort that you have put. And if I see that all of you are giving level 3 and it is even not level 1 paper, that actually counts for penalty, so so something like that, that you should be able to self evaluate. Okay. So this is the marking scheme that we will be doing. Don't use Python language, right? I know that you have learned Python and all this thing. As I have told, consider these languages as a tool to convert your ideologies into result, right? Your understanding into result, right? So if you know one of the, I mean, more important is the logic, right? The algo that you will be using. So and then learning a language is not that much difficult, and we will be giving you sufficient time, right, to learn these things and do this. So at the end of this, it will be I mean, you will be a pro in this, so don't worry. If you have learned something, is good. You have all the backgrounds, right? Learn something new over here. Marking, I have not thought right now, right? We will see as it goes along, right? So yeah. But this course is a high grading course, right? So so if you are able to do, A is maths, right? Simply. So if you are understanding this, I mean, getting an A is not difficult at all. A minus, there are several A minus you can find out from your last sessions, or I mean your seniors also. Yeah, and if you're understanding, you will be given a grade. I mean, don't worry about relative grading and so on. I mean, I don't also have, I will give only 5 A grades or 5 A minus grades, nothing like that. If you do it, you earn it. Right? Marks are given to you only. Right? Okay, term paper, we will have it. Let us start the course with something. Level 1, level 2, level 3 means marks will be decided on that. It will be given beforehand that level 1 means 50%. You will get between 0 to 50 marks, right? Level 2 means 50 to 80, right? So we are looking something 8 out of 10 or something. And level 3 means based on 80 to 100, right? So yeah, and if you have something that is out of the box or extraordinary, of course definitely it will attract full marks also. That is even possible, right? So if you're doing something really really very good, I mean, in the 2 years that I have taken this course, I have really come across several term papers that have been very eye opening, right, and have been very good. On what basis? As I have told, level 1 will be based on, it's a literature review. It's simply identifying one of the numerical schemes or two of the numerical schemes or different numerical schemes that have been used in different journals working on the same topic. For example, as I have told, rainfall in India. So some of the journals is telling rainfall in Maharashtra, rainfall in Delhi for the last 10 years, right? So there can be different journals which are discussing about this. So you go through those journal papers, do a literature survey, right, and understand what tools they have used to understand what is the rainfall, what are the statistics that has come out, right? So if you can do your own coding, right, and do it. So level 1 is something that is very basic, that is required. I mean, if you have to submit a term paper, get 50% marks, that much is at least required, right? You have to identify what is used, that scheme may be a very can be only solving linear algebraic equations, doing a regression fitting, right, something like that. And you have identified that the thing that is being told to you in the class, and you have been able to actually make a parallel with it, right, for different journal papers, say around 5-6 journal papers you have read. So that is level 1, up to 50% marks. 50 to 80% marks, you have to write a code and actually solve those things, right? Show the graphs, right? I mean, whatever has been done in the journal papers, you have been able to do it exactly on your own, right? So that, but you have to submit me all those codes. Don't think that just submitting me some results will do. Those codes need to be submitted with the project, right? And those codes should be running and giving you exactly the same results that you have claimed that you have done, right? So once all these things are done, so you can get marks up from 50 to 80%. And above 80 is something that where you have done something new that has not been in the journals, and like your final paper, when it comes out, it is as good as publishable, that you can sell somewhere. I mean, like, you can sell somewhere means sell your idea, so you can actually have the journal paper on your own, right? It should be like that you are just a step closer to have your own paper, right? So it should be something like this, which is very unique, which has not been done before, right? So that is level 3. Okay, now coming to the course outline. I'm not giving too much away. I mean, we will be doing it as we are going through it. Yes, and any queries I have? Okay, so this is a course outline that we are having. So basically, we will be going through this, like the introduction. We will be talking about errors. So whatever we come across, we will be learning along our path. We will be doing linear algebraic equations. There are several things that we can. Linear algebraic equations are very important, because at the end of the day, we will like to convert our equations into linear set of algebraic equations and solve it. We will learn how to solve a set of linear algebraic equations. Then we will be solving nonlinear algebraic equations. Then there are functions, interpolations, approximation, regression, because in experiments we come across several data, right? How to interpret those data, right? So that is very important. So that part will involve your regression analysis, interpolation of data, because you cannot have experiments at each and every condition, right? So how you can interpolate and get the findings at any desired temperature and pressure where your experiment was not done, but you want to have a result. So those things you can learn from functions, interpolations, and regressions. Next, what we will do is numerical integration and differentiation, which is very much required. And lastly, we will be solving ordinary differential equations and partial differential equations. So in chemical engineering, any branch you go, it is filled up with differential equations, right? Ordinary differential equations, and they are definitely not cast in forms that we can have analytical solutions. So we need to know how to solve this numerically. Different sets of ordinary differential equations can be there. These can be initial value problems, boundary value problems, right? And then comes the last part, which are partial differential equations. Like as I have told, the Navier-Stokes equation that we solve for fluid flow, as we will be learning in transport phenomena. These are coupled partial differential equations. So these are very difficult to. These are definitely, there are some schemes which still allows us to solve through analytical methods, but they are very few, and it requires a lot of approximations, assumptions, right? So numerically we can solve them with much ease. So we will learn how to solve the partial differential equations as well. So this is the general course outline, and the first 4 we will try to finish by minor 1. and 5, 6, and 7 will do up to major. So that's the understanding of it. Yes, you have any queries up to now? Else we will start with the numerical methods. Yes. Okay. The Google form will be to jot down your queries. I mean, your queries means you are not understanding something. Even after going through the videos several times or going through the book several times, and you really want to know. So please put that query based on which lecture number will that be. Okay, major, I will yes, I always do the entire course because you will see that everything is related, right? When you are solving partial differential equations, you at the end will come up with linear algebraic equations, right? So if you don't know how to solve linear algebraic equations, I mean, or if I tell that the course is only from minor 1 to major, and you tell no ma'am, linear algebraic equations were solved in before minor 1, so I have not learned, I don't know, then it will be very difficult, right? You won't get any result at the end of the day. So all the things you will see will be related, right? The approximation, the function that you are doing, that will be helpful in doing the interpolation. So all the understanding, you will see that all are very interrelated. So I mean, once I have given minor, right, I forget about it and concentrate on major. That won't happen. I cannot devise a question paper that does not involve all the understanding. So major will be based on the entire syllabus. Specific questions before minor 1 that has been done may not be taken up, but to solve the major problems, right, you may require understanding, right? That will anyway we will be learning, and by that time we will be a pro in all these things. Yes, so basically we will be working on numerical methods. So the first question when you come to a course, you should ask is, why are we doing this? Where is it used? How we can use it, and what is in it, right? So these all questions come to our mind, right? So that is all about this course, right? We will learn as we go ahead. Where do we need numerical methods? So I would suggest that we need numerical methods today in everywhere where there is engineering involved. Every field of engineering which deals with understanding of the physics through mathematical equations, right? That needs to be solved, right, at the end of the day. And definitely analytical results are not always possible. What are analytical results? I'm talking about analytical results for a long time. Can any one of you tell me what's the difference between analytical results and numerical results? Anyone? I mean, feel free, just tell what is in your mind, right? It may be right, it may be wrong.
Numerical methods arise the results that we obtain through numerical methods are experiment wise, while analytical methods are theoretical results.
Anyone else?
Ma'am, to determine the efficiency of the reaction or the process.
Okay. Okay. Not. Yeah. Anyone else?
Numerical would be to calculate by ourselves, like we're trying to find out something by data given to us, and analytical would be to analyze analyze results which have already been found out.
Okay. So, fine. I have got some of the answers. So definitely it's not an experimental answer. So for experimental results, we have experimental results, right? And whatever we try to, so see, there are different ways of understanding a problem. One is through doing experiments. So what people used to do previously was people used to do experiments, several experiments, right? And try to fit in the data to find out a sort of trend, right? So those results are known as empirical results, right? For example, I mean, I'm not being able to give you more examples because you people are just learning, right? So maybe not all the chemical engineering concepts are very clear It will not be introduced to you, right? So there are certain equations like Dittus-Boiter equation in heat and mass, for example. So in those cases, what used to happen? Scientists used to do experiments and get some result. So those results are experimental results. What are analytical results, for example? So for example, y is equal to sine x, right? And for example, you want to find out dy dx, so it will become cos x, right? So this closed form of the equation, right? Because you have sine x and you are able to differentiate it, right? In a closed form, that is called analytical result, right? That can be done through operations like calculus and differentiation integration, that you can do it easily, right? Because of I mean, like algebraic interpolation or something. So through use of calculus, through use of all the basic mathematics that you have learned, so those are called analytical results, right? So analytical result, for example, the pi flow. The pi flow, as you will go ahead, you will learn that it's a parabolic flow. So along the radius, it may vary as u is equal to u max into 1 minus r square, for example. So where r is the radius. So this is a parabolic flow profile that you are having. So in an analytical result, you have the result at every point in the domain you want, right? So so because it's a closed form, you have a closed form relation. So anything that can be expressed in a functional form or as an analytical form is called an analytical form of the equation, where you can write y as a function of x. Now what happens is that like in many methods, the equations become so complex that it does not have an analytical expression, right? Not all function can be represented as y is equal to sine x or y is equal to x square. So not all functions can be represented by polynomials or trigonometric functions or things like that, right? So in those cases, how do you get an answer, right? You make it, I mean, your function may also be very complex, right? For example, y is equal to sine x plus x square plus 1 by tan x into x cubed to the, so sometimes it becomes so difficult that even to find out a differential or the integration, you cannot do it analytically, right? You cannot use all your like all the methods that you have learned, to mathematical methods that you have learned up to here, to solve it analytically. So how do we do it? We will learn about that. So that method by which we numerically find it is known as a numerical method, right? So how is a numerical method someone told that it is close to experimental results, right? So one of the analogy between experiment and numerical result is that experimental means you are putting a pressure probe somewhere, temperature probe. So you cannot have again the results everywhere in the domain. You are having some sensors somewhere and you have point locations where you are having the result. Similarly, in numerical methods, what we do is we divide the domain into certain regions, right? And we get the results there. Not everywhere in the domain we know the result, right? Because it will become computationally very heavy to do it. So there is the analogy between numerics and experiments, right? That you have these results at certain points only. Because in experiments, it is experimentally very difficult to have it everywhere, because it will be very costly to put, and it will be practically impossible to put sensors at every x, right? To have your results. Similarly, numerically, when we solve the thing, we divide the domain into certain nodes, certain points, or certain domain size, right, to have a result over there. And that solution will not be in closed form. It will be not in a form of y is equal to sine x, but it will give you some numerical value. For example, y is equal to 1.552. Right? So in like that, we will be able to solve it. That's what is the difference between analytical, experimental, and numerical method. Okay? Now, as I have told, that anywhere where mathematics is involved, in today's world, you need
it's 11 hours
numerical methods, because the equations become more and more complex. Then simple mathematical way of solving it does not help us. Yes, anyone was asking any question for us? Okay, so we now have dedicated softwares we have dedicated softwares like in chemical engineering we have softwares like ANSYS, Fluent, right, to solve fluid flows, right. For example, if you're from mechanical engineering background, right, you will need softwares like Abacus to solve computer aided design, right, to solve that type of flows, right. So in those softwares, the basic is this numerical methods that we are using, right. So all the softwares today are required to understand the flow field, the temperature profile, and everything, because that solves the governing equations, right? But the governing equations may not be able to be solved analytically. So we use different schemes to have a numerical understanding of of the results. So not only in engineering, in life sciences, medicines, right, where you are trying to, for example, understand how a cancer network can be monitored, right, or for example, the 3D imaging. So medical science has made so much progress because now we can visualize the results in a very good fashion, right? So, for example, we can do a 3D imaging of the whole entire body to understand where tumors are and things like that, right? Or we can devise numerical schemes to find out how the population dynamics of, for example, that an algae is growing, the growth dynamics and so on. So, in life sciences, medicines, also numerical methods play a very important role in today's life, right? In social science, for example, for correlating different aspects of growth and economic, people use numerical methods to understand that. Also, business and finance, for example, stock market and stock trading, for example, it is highly involves numerical methods in solving them. So why do we need numerical methods? As I have told that when we are simply integrating, for example, fx dx, the fx may not be in a form that you want it to be. It needs to be of a special form to do an analytical maths on it. For example, fx needs to be of the form sin x or x or something. Right? So in those cases, you need numerical methods. Okay, so you have a class. So from next lecture, I will stop today's class, and from next lecture onwards, for the next 4 lectures will be video lectures that I will be posting, and then we'll again have a live class. Okay. So please post your queries. I mean, whenever you have a query, you can write in that Google spreadsheet. I will share it with you. Okay. So I will end it today's class, and have a nice day. Yeah, I will share this PPT with you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am, thank you, ma'am.